Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today. We're tackling a topic that, honestly, practically every driver has wondered about at some point or another, and we're going to look at it strictly by the numbers. Our core focus today, uncovering the true financial return on investment of owning a dash cam. We're going to separate the marketing fluff from the reality of what actually happens to your wallet when you plug one of these cameras into your dashboard. Right out of the gate, we've got to address the absolute elephant in the room. This is literally the most common question buyers ask the second they figure out which camera to buy. Will a dash cam lower my car insurance? Well, the honest, no-nonsense answer, it's kind of complex. Sometimes it does, but the mechanism behind how it saves you money matters way more than just looking for a simple line item discount. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the insurance discount myth, then the real financial benefits, and protecting yourself against staged fraud. Finally, we'll wrap up with a buyer's guide, how much to spend, those sneaky hidden costs, and exactly how to use your footage. Section 1. The Insurance Discount Myth. What U.S. insurers actually say in 2026. So, while UK insurers might hand out direct premium discounts of, say, 10 to 25% just for having a calibrated, cloud-connected dashcam, the U.S. market reveals a totally different trend. Look at the big players. Progressive has Snapshot, Nationwide has Smart Ride, and State Farm has Drive Safe and Save. Notice a pattern? None of these offer a direct discount just because you bought the hardware. Instead, the U.S. market leans heavily into telematics programs. Insurance companies don't just care that you own a camera, they want hard proof that you're actually a safe driver. Telematics programs track that behavior and reward you with savings, sometimes up to 40%. So, a cloud-connected dashcam pumping out drive scoring data is fantastic evidence to grab those telematics discounts, but the camera itself, it's not some magic coupon code. Section 2. The real financial benefits. Speed, surcharges, and savings. If we aren't getting a direct discount right on our bill, where's the actual value? Well, it's all about time and penalties. Without a dashcam, the average disputed auto claim takes a grueling 45 to 90 days to resolve. You are stuck without a car, paying out of pocket for a rental, and sweating over a provisional at-fault determination. But with a dashcam, boom, clear footage resolves the majority of claims in just 24 to 72 hours. That speed alone wipes out weeks of out-of-pocket rental costs and serious legal headaches. We're talking about a financial swing of several $1,000s here. But wait, the savings absolutely do not stop at rental cars. Let this number sink in for a second. 47%. According to Insurify's 2025 analysis, that is the average insurance rate increase at renewal after a single at-fault accident. And honestly, it gets worse, because that surcharge typically sticks around for 3 to 5 long years. So let's do the math on that. If your annual premium is, let's say, $2,500, a 3-year surcharge at that 47% rate is going to cost you an additional $3,525 out of pocket. That is the exact financial penalty you're risking if you end up in one of those classic he said, she said disputes in the middle of an intersection. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. A dash cam doesn't magically prevent an accident from happening. What it does do is prevent a not-at-fault accident from being incorrectly labeled as an at-fault accident, purely because you didn't have the evidence to back up your story. In contested rear-end collisions, messy intersection disputes, merge accidents, forward-facing video is literally the best evidence you can have to establish fault correctly. Seriously, avoiding just one incorrect at-fault determination saves you way more money than you'd spend buying 5 to 10 dashcam systems over your entire life. Section 3, Protecting Against Staged Fraud. The underrated financial defense. This leads us to a massive financial vulnerability, especially if you drive in an urban core or a known high-claim area. A staged accident is exactly what it sounds like. It's when another driver deliberately causes a crash just to collect a fraudulent injury claim. These scams typically hit the victim's insurer for between $15,000 and $50,000 per claim. And guess who ends up paying for that? Yeah, we do. Insurance fraud costs U.S. drivers an estimated $29 billion a year in inflated premiums. It's wild. But video evidence is the ultimate kryptonite for these expensive, staged claims. Scammers rely on ambiguity. They rely on the subjective chaos of an accident. They want it to look like you just recklessly rear-ended them. A dashcam removes that ambiguity completely by clearly showing your speed, your following distance, and the erratic behavior of that other car right before the impact. Your camera hands the insurance adjuster exactly what they need to reject a fraudulent claim outright. Section 4. How much to spend. The 2025 Buyer's Guide. So dash cams generally fall into 3 tiers. You've got your budget tier from $20 to $70, which basically just gives you basic single camera recording. Then, way up top, you have the premium tier from $200 to $500 or more. These are built for power users or fleets, packing 4K video, AI, and cloud connectivity. But notice that middle tier. For most everyday drivers, the best value tier between $70 and $200 is the absolute sweet spot. In that range, you're getting super reliable 1080p or 2K video, upgraded sensors for solid night performance, and incredibly useful features like GPS, Wi-Fi, and parking modes. Now, I know you might be tempted to just grab a $20 camera off the internet and call it a day. But remember this quote: the biggest risk with very cheap dash cams isn't just lower image quality, it's reliability. Extreme heat in a parked car will absolutely fry cheap models. They'll corrupt your SD cards. The absolute worst case scenario is getting into an accident, checking your camera, and realizing it just randomly failed to save the clip when you got hit. Spending that extra bit to get into the $70 to $200 range buys you a massive jump in hardware reliability. Section 5. Beware of hidden costs. What to budget beyond the box. Right, before you excitedly click Add to Cart, remember that the sticker price on the box is rarely your final cost. To accurately budget for a system that actually works when you need it, keep these 3 things in mind. First off, you almost always need to buy a high-endurance SD card. Dash cams are constantly writing data, and standard SD cards will just burn out way too fast. Second, if you want a parking mode to keep recording while your car is turned off, you're going to need a professional hardwire installation that usually runs around $100 to $150 per vehicle. And finally, if you go for a premium connected camera with LTE or cloud storage, you'll need to factor in a monthly subscription fee. Section 6. How to use your footage. The 5 essential post-accident steps. Okay, so you bought the camera, you installed it perfectly, and then the unthinkable happens, and you're in an accident. Here is a concrete, actionable checklist of exactly what to do with your footage in that critical moment. Step 1. Lock the clip immediately. Most cameras have a dedicated button to lock the file so it won't get overwritten. Do this before you even unbuckle your seatbelt. Step 2. Tell your insurer you have footage on the very first phone call. Trust me, this instantly changes how they handle your claim. Step 3. Export the file and submit a copy to the insurance company. Keep the original safely on your SD card until the whole claim is totally closed. Step 4. Verify the GPS timestamp actually matches the accident time. Camera clocks can sometimes drift, and adjusters look super closely at this. And Step 5. Never, ever edit the footage. Even if the video catches you singing terribly to the radio, submit the unedited original. Editing or selectively cropping footage can legally be considered insurance fraud, and nobody wants that. So, bringing it all back home, we've looked at the numbers. A really solid mid-range camera might run you around $149. But when you weigh that against the potential $3,525 insurance surcharge you avoid by proving you weren't at fault, the ROI is just undeniable. A dash cam definitively pays for itself, and usually it happens on the very first disputed claim you ever have. Which leaves us with this final thought. We started out today asking if a dash cam pays for itself. But looking at the massive financial risks, the agonizing delays, and the real threat of staged fraud on our roads today, I think we need to flip the premise entirely. The real question is, can you afford to drive without one? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay safe out there on the roads, and I will catch you next time.